Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Green Factor, a show where we talk about green design and the business of sustainability. I'm your host, Haris the Green Carpenter, and today we'll be talking about public relations for sustainable businesses. I think public relation has always been seen as the territory of the big companies, but we have to see how like smaller businesses can also leverage on public relation because we are seeing a lot of benefit of having public relation strategies in the business. So today with me we have Marisa Chan, which is our friend, my friend. So we met, I think, last year, and she's a practitioner of public relations. So I invited her to come to the show. Welcome, Lisa.
Hello everyone, how are you? Thanks for having me,
So
Haris.
yes, thank you for coming. So before we go into the topic, um, let's talk more about you, like for the audience who don't know you. So can you share a little bit about your journey and how you have where you are at right now as well?
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Melissa. So basically, I'm a PR practitioner from EA Creative Media Relation, which is my own PR firm. It's been around for about 8 years. And as for my own experiences, I have been in the marketing, branding, and PR industry for more than 16 years already. And for me, how I get to be a PR practitioner is because through last time being in the beauty industry, I actually been managing brands. So one of it is PR, and we are doing a lot of PR to actually create the awareness for our own in-house brands. And after I start up with my own firm, I actually cater towards small to medium enterprises because these are the companies, or should I say, these are the people and enterprises that needs more publicity at this moment, especially during this pandemic. We need to create more hype so we don't get drowned. So this is what I am actually catering to, and this is what I actually do as well.
Hmm. So when we talk about public relations, people don't really understand much what it entails, and for example, like what's different between public relation and advertising. So can you enlighten us a little bit?
Okay. All right. Let me go through PR 101. All right. Public relations is whereby we create awarenesses for the brand. Okay. The branding is there already, but how do you actually expose your brand to the public, your target audiences, and also to your future investors? So, public relation is whereby we open up channels. We actually go through media channels that actually suits this few segment, which is your target audience, your investors, and also to the public. We actually use the content that is already ready by the company or the brand, and we actually open up and to send out messages, the right messages, using the right keywords, using the right tone, and to pass it to the media. So when I say media, it's not 100% social media. It's very much talking about newspaper, magazines, digital channels, or radio and TV as well. All right. So this is what public relations is about. We actually open up doors by knocking towards these media channels, and we actually talk to the media and to tell them, okay, hey, these are the brands that is creating something, some announcement, some noise. So they can actually publish it so the public knows about it. They get the educational content from that. As where it comes to advertising, because I know it's a little bit confusing sometimes between PR and ads. PR is very much earned. We don't pay the media. We don't own the page, as what we actually call it. Okay, so it's very much earned, whereby the PR practitioner actually goes up to the media to tell them, okay, this is who and who. This is what they are doing, and this is their unique value proposition. So this is the uniqueness of this company. How does it stands out among its competition? This is how PR works, whereby ads is very straightforward. You go up to the media, you pay for the insertion, you own the page. So what content you wanted to post it out, when you wanted to post it, and how big you wanted to post it is all managed by the brand. So you just have to go up and then you pay for the insertion, and you say, okay, and you just plan out the whole so-called ad accordingly. And once it's ready, you can just inform the media and say, okay, this is the day I want it to be published. Whereby for PR, we cannot control when the media is going to actually publish that feature. It's something which is up to the media's decision, and we don't actually hold it, or should I say, we don't own it. So this is one of the strongest differences between PR versus advertising. PR, as I said, PR is very much based on earn, and advertising is very straightforward, which is you just pay for the insertion.
Understand. So in a way, um, a PR approach is a little bit more authentic compared to advertising. Would you say that?
Yes, PR, I would say you will need to have newsworthy content, something that the public would like to know, something which the media felt that, okay, you have something unique on its own that I should actually feature it. Whereas compared to ads, it's very much controlled by the brand, and is sometimes it's always coming from the brand's perspective instead of the readers or the public's perception. Because sometimes, based on PR, we will actually try to educate the public or the target audiences on what is great about the brand, what value can it actually benefit to the users, or the public. But as well, for ads, it's very much, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is what I can do. So it's very structurized compared to PR.
Understand. So Nana said hi Mel and Haris. Hi Nana, thank you
Hi,
for tuning
Nana.
in. So looking into the now we go into the why, like because
Mhm.
we like earlier said, normally people think that PR is mostly for big companies, but why is PR important for smaller companies or for sustainable businesses?
Okay, first of it is that please remove this mindset. PR is not only for big boys, all right? It's not only for big brands. Um, let's just take back to why smaller companies or sustainable businesses needs PR. I would say every businesses needs PR, because PR is the first step that many businesses or business owner do not know. It's the very first step after you have done your branding, before you do your advertising, or before you do even your sales. PR is the first step that you need to do, because you need to educate your target audiences. You need to tell people who you are. You need to tell people what you do. And most importantly, how to actually get to you. Like, do you have a social media page? Do you have websites? All this needs to be put it out front at the front before the sales comes in. So you need to educate the clientele, your target audiences, about your unique value proposition, as what I mentioned, and also to tell them what you can actually provide in terms of the value, the benefit of it. All right. So smaller businesses, why they don't want to actually, they don't, or should I say, they have trouble in terms of doing PR, is that majority of them, they don't know how. Uh, it's important because you have to create the educational content. You need to create the awareness first. Then only it's easier for you to actually have the sales funnel coming in. Because if you don't do PR, no matter how great your brand is, you will be still hidden, and people doesn't know you. So when people doesn't know you, it makes the sales process extremely hard. So once you can create a PR campaign, it's easier because when you talk to people, you can prove it to them that, okay, we will feature in this particular media. We will be, we are appearing in this certain media channels. So you have the foundation there, and also it actually create trust for your for your target audiences about your brand. Then you can actually also educate them when it comes to your core value of the business and company.
So in a way, it's part of the promotional part of the business, meaning like we have advertising, we have PR as well. It needs to work in line, right? So even though
Yes.
it the idea is similar, but it's about reach, but the approach is a lot different, right?
Yes,
And
correct.
yeah, so yeah, like you touch on like why people don't go into publication because they don't know how, right? So let's go into like how a business can start to look into PR. Like what should they frame their mind in terms of going through this journey?
Okay, for me, it's always starting to know who your target audiences are. Okay, then the second one is know your objectives. Thirdly, understand which media channel suits you. Look for these three first. So once you understand these three, then it's easier for you to plan out. Like for example, once you know who your target audiences are, then you can actually look at your unique value proposition, your what whether your product, your brand, or your services actually suits them. So once you know, okay, these are the people that I'm targeting at, and you look through which media that actually suits you. Because when we say media, there are so many media out there. Even though when we talk about digital channels, okay, to go into sustainable businesses, digital is one of the best because it's environment friendly, and it has a better reach, okay, not only towards Malaysia, but also Southeast Asia and also globally. So when you look at the digital channels, there are thousands of them, okay? I'm talking about local channels only. So whether these channels actually suits your target audiences, whether it suits your industry. So these are the two things that is that you can look into, and also you follow the three steps. Then it's easier for them to plan out the stage or the PR campaign that they wanted to do.
So Nana has a question. As a PR specialist, do you strategize the advertising channel for business to promote their business, i.e., which platform to choose from? So how do you answer
Okay.
this?
All right. To answer Nana, yes, actually, we as a PR practitioner, we do actually advise when it comes to advertising. But to go back to square one, if the company is still very new, I would not suggest to actually invest in advertising because advertising might need a bigger investment compared to PR. So you should actually brush up the PR campaign first. until the brand, I would say, let's say for a new startup, okay, I would say focus on PR for at least 2 years, okay. Then once the brand is much more stable, public knows about them, the media feature them, then only you can actually plan your advertising on the third year onwards. If not for those, a lot of what I came to know is a lot of startups, they actually make this wrong move whereby they actually once they got the grants or they got the model business model, the first thing is that they actually pump in a lot of money into advertising. But without people knowing who you are, you need to advertise many times before people actually remember your brand. And once they remember it, the next thing they would say, okay, what is this for? Does it actually suit me? So for when you actually put into your PR campaign first, all this has been answered. Then only you actually advertise it, then people will start to remember, oh, this is what they do. And right now they're running this promotion. So it actually makes sense. I hope it answers Nana's
Okay.
question.
So in a way, in terms of the process wise, for the promotional, it's better for us to start with PR first, develop the campaign and all that, and then after a while, after it's run for a while, then you look into more advertising, where the paid one, so that it in a way is the reach is better and it's more efficient use of your money, I suppose.
Yes, correct.
Understand. Hmm. Cool. So okay, let's say they have gone through all that campaign and all that. They started to do all that, and then but they just do, right. So when they do, they make some mistakes and all that. So what do you see mistakes that people make, and like how do you should less how can you lessen the mistakes?
Okay, being in the industry for many years, what I noticed is that these are the three mistakes that businesses make when it comes to PR. Okay, the first one is that they don't know their UVP. Okay, they don't know their own unique value proposition. They keep on saying that, okay, um, I'm good in everything. Or sometimes when I talk to them, is that, oh gosh, I don't know what I'm good at. I don't know what can I promote. So if you don't know this, then it's very difficult for you to also educate your people. All right. The second one is, of course, the target audiences. Every time when I ask my clients also, or the prospect that I met up with, who are your target audiences? And majority always say mass market is everyone. But have you ever thought whether a newborn is suitable to your brand? Whether someone who has already retired suits you, or someone who is in the within our age of 40 to 50, whether it actually suits you. So you really need to segregate it. The more you segregate, the better it is for you to actually hit to the right spot. So sometimes PR has to be, you need to be a sniper when it comes to PR. Because the more structured you are, the more unique you are, it's easier for you to actually pinpoint the target audiences that you want to. And it also saves a lot of resources like time, money, manpower. So all this actually takes into consideration. The last one is that they don't have direction. Like, okay, I know my values, I know who are my target audiences, but I don't know my direction. Where to start after okay, if I wanted to do a PR campaign for maybe 1 year. So after 1 year, what do? I stop my PR campaign really after that. Then I let it run on its own. It doesn't work that way. PR is, you need to actually maintain your PR. So you need to know your direction. So after you say, okay, I want to stop my PR campaign here, then what are you going to do to continue your awareness? Because publicity cannot just cut off like this, because once you cut off, you need to start off from ground zero again. So these are the three mistakes that I always see majority of the businesses why they fail is because of this.
So these are the mistakes. So in a way, before you embark in this PR exercise, you also need to know the company or yourself first, right? Like, what do we stand for? Like, what story do you want to tell? What is our unique selling? So these are all actually something that not just PR needs to do. When you do advertising as well, you need to have those. When you do strategic planning, you need to have all those. So in a way that having all this thing clear from the very beginning, it helps with all your other process, all your planning, all your advertising, on your PR. So how do you, let's, because I want to talk about this because I see it is quite a very critical thing because it's just not just for PR, it's for the whole thing, right? So how do you suggest people to find their unique selling proposition and their target market and all that? Of course, for like companies that have been in the market for quite some time, they somewhat know. But what about new businesses or like a new company that want to target new audience, for example?
Okay, let's just take an example of okay, like a shampoo. Okay, a shampoo brand that is actually can cater towards the mass market. Am I right? Okay, so what is unique about this particular shampoo compared to other brands? Okay, one, it could be a price point. Number two, it could be the ingredients that it uses. Number three, it could be something which is more detailed, like okay, instead of going for everyone, maybe the shampoo actually creates something which is for not to say anti, it reduce hair fall. The next one is the packaging. And then the fifth one, it could be where are you going to place or to sell the product? Is it available online only? Is it available in retail stores? So this is something which brands can actually look into. And from there, then they can actually plan out, okay, is this particular target market actually suits all five? Whether the price points actually cater towards the targeted audience that I want. Then whether my key messages is it suitable to what the audiences want to hear. And then four is like whether my values, or should I say the brand values, actually fits or suits them. So these are the few things that they should actually look into. And as for me, when I come in or a PR practitioner comes in, we always dig dive. We always ask them questions like, okay, if you say that your value, let's just say because shampoo is very generic, these are the few questions that we always ask the brand owners or the CEOs. Like, okay, what makes you stand out among your competitor? What ingredients do you use? Because sometimes when we ask them question, they don't know how to answer. So it's my job to come up with questions so it's easier for them to come up with the answers that I want to know, and they would find out, okay, this is something which I never thought of. So it's like, okay, the ingredients that you are using, is it suitable for everyone or the targeted audiences that you are looking for? And also, is this your core value? Is it something which the brand actually represents? Is it what the product is representing when it comes to the brand, and also in terms of the value and together with the target audiences are? So these are something which we always actually in the first stage we always talk to the client or the prospect. So without this, it's also difficult for us to plan out a PR campaign for them.
Yes, yes, I can see that. So before we continue, James said hello. Hello, James. Thank you for coming in.
Hi, James.
And from Facebook, Abdul Halim. Thank you. to sustain balancing annual product. Okay, I thought it's a question, but thank you very much for tuning in. Um, the next question is like, okay, I've strategized. I wanted to do this. I've done my Unix everything, and then it's actually in terms of the execution of the campaign. So one, we can either do it ourselves. So what should like company good practices for company to do themselves, or another one, if they want to engage in PR, because not a lot of people can do their own public relation because it requires a lot of work. I know for a fact because we also work a lot with media, so you need to have a team and all that to do that. So let's say you were to do both, like personal and also you engage with PR. How do you find good one, or that so that it it's beneficial for both parties lah?
Okay. Let's just say for in-house. Okay. In-house will be where you DIY. Okay. So for people, or should I say for those brands that can actually get internal PR, it would be better because the person knows the brand in and out. And it's easier for the person to actually get in touch with the media as well, because sometimes media would prefer to actually talk to the brand people directly. So this is one of the what you call that benefit of having an internal PR consultant. So for PR, for those who actually have starting off with their own PR, what you can do is to prepare a press release. Okay, press release is a very important document that you need to prepare, that actually incorporates what you do, what the company does, the core values, the mission, and also what are the services or the products that you are providing. Then only lastly, it will come out with a simple paragraph about the company itself. Okay. Then with this, you can actually pass it to the media with photographs. Photographs are important because it actually create another extension for the brand awareness, because once people can see the like say your logo or your brand product, it actually helps them to remember you. Okay. And it looks better as well when it has a photograph and when the media wanted to publish it. So once you have this ready, send it out to the media. Of course, you need to study off the media, as I mentioned. Once you study off the media, you know who they are. You send it out to the right editor, the right department. Then after that, you will just need to follow up. So PR is a little bit tedious because you need to do a lot of following. Once you sign up to the media, doesn't mean the media will actually pick you up immediately, okay? Especially for new brands and new companies. As well, when you compare towards hiring a third party, that's where the agency comes in. So first of it is that look at your budget, because there are so many agencies out there. We have actually boutique agency towards larger agencies as well. So look at your budget and how much you can actually do. And when it comes to agency, there are two ways of doing it. One is that whether you wanted to do retaining or you wanted to go by project basis. But for me, if I were to advise, go with project basis first, because first of it is that for a new company, retaining basis is that you have to pay on a monthly basis. If you have something on a regular basis, like 1 year you have 3 to 4 PR campaigns running, then yes, I would only say that you should actually invest in a retaining basis. If not, just go with a project basis first. Kickstart with it. At least this way, you can also try out how well you guys are working with each other. So you have a project basis to go through. You run it. If you're comfortable with it, then you can continue with the agency. Uh, the agency benefit is that we can actually advise you in terms of your key messaging, because we have to work well with your marketing team. So we will work hand in hand in terms of providing a cohesive messaging format for the content. Also, in terms of where you should actually look into the media, we will actually advise you, okay, these are the medias that actually suits you. And then the next one is that we will actually help you to distribute your press releases or your press kit to the media. Then we can actually also pitch to the media easily because the media knows who we are really, and we can actually also educate the media on what are the benefits of this particular brand. So with that, then we can actually talk to the media easily on that part. So these are the few I would say differences between in-house and hiring a third party.
Awesome, awesome. And I think and just the one that is tuning in, we now have better understanding of what PR can do for your business. So if we look at the discussion, we are seeing that there's no difference between normal company and sustainable company. Like people always think that people social enterprise or like sustainable businesses like the different breed. You don't have to think about this. Basically, it's the same thing. I always say to people that if, let's say, a normal business needs to think about 10,000 things, right? Sustainable or social enterprise needs to think about 20,000 things. So all the things that is in traditional business needs to be brought in as well, and as well as the element of sustainability and ethical also should come hand in hand. So hopefully with the discussion, you guys have find benefit and understand more of how PR can benefit you. If you want um, to connect with Melissa, do so on LinkedIn, Melissa Chan. And before we finish the show, Melissa, any last tips or advice for companies that want to look into PR?
Okay, first of it is that do not be afraid of doing PR. You can always start it small. All right. Start off with understanding yourself first, your businesses, the value. Then after that, understand your target audiences. Then create the press release and start sending it out to the media. But if you felt that you don't have a proper team to do that, you can always use your social media. Your social media is one of the best platforms that you can actually do. Put up messaging, put up educational content that people actually wants to understand and to know you more. Don't go, don't do too much advertising content or promo content because I see a lot of brands when it comes to brands, they do a lot of promotions, especially new startups and new companies. They do a lot of promotional content and ads on their web page. So it's not so um, good in a sense because it's too hard sell. Try to educate them first, let them trust you, then only you actually put up, okay, we do have promotion coming up. Then people will be more open to it.
Thank you, Melissa. And for everyone that is tuning in, if you find value in the discussion, do share it with your friends or family that might need that might benefit from this. And also, I would like to invite you guys to join our Facebook group Green Design Malaysia, where we talk about we have a community of students, business people, researchers, and designers, where we talk about issues of sustainability here in Malaysia. So do join us there, be part of the discussion, and contribute to making the world a better place. So Melissa, have a good rest of the year, and for everyone else, thank you for tuning in and have a green week ahead. Bye bye.
Bye.